This podcast provides a platform that will share many different points of views that should empower you, uplift you, make you want to go out and do right. When you hear the term still a man, say, yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Let's go.
So, yeah. Patsy, why don't you pick up where you left off? You was getting ready to inform us about your neighbor's experience with probate court and child support.
Yeah, my friend, her daughter stays with the father, so she pays him the child support. So it's like role reversal. For that situation, you know, but yeah, it's, you know, it just, he either comes there or they make arrangements where they meet up somewhere or she goes to him and stuff, you know, it's like, she, you know, they have that squared away, you know, it's like, at least she pays it and stuff, and sometimes it's not so much more the money. Sometimes it's communication between them, you know, with trying to make sure she sees her daughter and everything, you know, and and just making sure she's like have that communication with her daughter and everything, you know. So yeah, but they have that down pat every month. When she gets her money, she gives them whatever it is that the arrangement is for the child support. She gives them their money and it's squared away, you know, and she doesn't have a problem, you know.
So do you know if she's court ordered to pay this amount, or is she just, they have an arrangement?
I forget if she was court ordered or, you know, but at least like for them, they kind of like make sure like she gets it to him and stuff like this, and it's not like they gets out of her check and everything. She takes the money out herself and gives it to him, you know. So yeah, because I know some people like it gets directly taken out of their check and to go to the person that is receiving the child support, you know. But that's not the situation with her, you know. She gives him the money when she gets paid, and that's the end of it, you know.
Seems like that they communicate well.
Yeah, especially on that, you know. Sometimes it's like he doesn't like, as far as like the communication on the money part is fine. You know, just sometimes trying to arrange to see her daughter is another issue.
All right. No. Now let me stop right there. We're gonna come right back to that. So yeah. I want to get a male's perspective on their dealings with probate court and child support. I believe Bird is a part of the meeting. Bird, you want to jump right in on this?
Well, you know me, I'm against it, but I also understand it does cost a lot to raise a child. I paid child support for probably 30 years to pay back the money I owed. And finally, in November 2021, I am no longer paying any more child support to the system. You can't run, you can't hide, you can't duck, you can't nothing. It's best to just get it done, over with. They can't take it forever, and eventually, you know, you're done paying. But I do believe, I mean, I hate to say, being in the home with my own children for quite many years, that it does cost a lot more than what they're taking out of your pocket to support a child. It costs a lot of money for a child. So, you know, there's bitter women that do it for bitter reasons, which is not fair and not right. But at the end of the day, there is an obligation that we have to provide for a child that we're not living with anymore. So I wasn't in full agreement with it, but now I'm done and I understand, and it does cost a lot, and it is what it is. You know, you're gonna eventually pay it off. You cannot run or hide from the IRS. All they'll do is add the juice, start charging you penalties, start charging you interest. Before you know it, you're in a hole bigger than you can dig yourself out. I ended up paying an extra probably 5 to 7 years of child support. Extra after my daughter aged out to pay back the money I owe. Now, you know, I get it. I'm not the biggest fan. I've been paying child support forever, and I'm finally free. I don't know anybody.
Now, and so let me ask you this question. So I read something today, and it moved me to call DOR and speak to their child support enforcement, because I couldn't, you know, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I wanted to make sure that this was true. So usually in some states, the cutoff point is 18 years of age, unless the child is emancipated. So if the child goes to court and say they want to be a legal adult and the judge allows it, so whatever age that child is at that age, they stop. The father or mother is no longer responsible for any child support unless it was arrears. But also what I learned was, if that child, being the child that's not emancipated, if they decide to go to school up until 23, you still have to pay child support.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was me.
I'm saying, I paid for my daughter till she was 23 and she aged out, and then I owed some money. I had to pay until it was paid off, and then they took more than what they should, and then they were mailing me money back.
So you actually got money back. I know
because
situations where they've taken more than what they was we'll just say entitled to. And that individual never got the money back. They told him at that time, if he wanted the money back, he had to take his child's mother to court in order to get it back. So I felt like that was trying to spark up some division in a certain sense.
You know, the system tries to give you the runaround too. The system is against the men, black men in general. So they try to give you the runaround to frustrate you to say, forget it.
I don't believe it's against anybody. There's laws that are set in place that at, let's say, at 5 years old, it could be 15% of your income. At 13 years old, it goes up to 20% of your income. If they're turning 18, the law dictates they're going to take almost 30% of your earned income. They're not going to take any more than that, and they're not going to take any less than that. So when it's not about being really against anybody. It's basically the court. I mean, I'm going to say they don't care, because I watched someone in court one time and didn't have a job and they weren't working, and the judge told them to go out and collect bottles.
Wow.
Flat out. If you're not working and you have no income, yes, they'll base it on a small amount, but you're still going to pay that small amount. They may give you like a $20 a week or $80 a week, or they're going to make you come in every week to prove that you're out seeking employment.
Wow.
In the meantime, between time, they're adding on interest, they're adding on penalties.
Right.
That doesn't go to your child, that goes to DOR. They keep that interest and penalties, so they're making profit. They're making profit, which is the worst part of the game. They say they charge interest and penalties because they mail you letters. That's the reason why they're getting paid, because they're the liaison in between the two parents, and they're sending letters out, so that they're getting a piece of that. Which, if there is interest and penalties, I'd rather that go to the child than into the state.
Okay, so do we have any more ladies that want to speak, want to talk about their experiences with probate court and child support? Are there any ladies that haven't gotten a chance to speak? Okay, so let's get another male's perspective then. Robbie, you want to share your experiences? Okay, Robin might be having mic issues. Timmy, you want to share your experiences?
Well, see, I didn't have no issue, really. I went to court on my own, and they gave me a hassle, and then I just said, well, I let the ball bounce with me, and me and my kid's mother, we figured it out, got it together, and you know, I avoid the courts. I was trying to, but I avoided when they started going against me. So I avoided them, but everything turned out to be the way I wanted it to go anyway. So I was grateful, and you know, I was an exception to the system.
So I would say this to everybody in attendance and everyone that knows someone that's currently dealing with child support enforcement or the probate courts. I would implore each attendee, each participant to go on to www.mass.gov child support enforcement and just really read the information, because I think that in some situations we are misinformed. Knowledge is power. We got some people that are afraid to deal with child support enforcement because they don't know what their rights are, and they hear the horror stories and they're just afraid. But like Bird said, you can't run from it. There's nowhere you can hide. They're going to find you. And when they find you, you're going to have to pay a large amount of money based upon your absence. So I would also tell you guys this too. Tanasia read off the legal terminology for adjudication. You guys got to understand, it's a process. You become adjudicated, and then there's a paternity test. And then even that does not guarantee that you will receive visitation. So let's talk about that, because there's a lot of guys that did the paternity test, acknowledge that they are the father, but they do not have any visitation to this day. However,
that because
they
the courts
are responsible for paying child support. So let's talk about that. Has anybody experienced that?
See, the courts do not enforce things when it comes to men. They won't enforce it. You have to fight and get lawyers involved. The women, all they have to do is go to court and say this and that, and they right along with them. So you have to go through a lot, and it's frustrating, yes, but you're supposed to go through it. If it's for the love of your kids, then you would go through it no matter what.
Sean, I thought I heard you you wanted to share something.
Based off of the question that you just well, let me back up a little bit. I was listening to Brother Bird speak on what he spoke on. And the fortunate thing that happened in my situation is that I had, although I, in the beginning, weren't the greatest experiences with my children's mother, eventually we was able to work certain things out to where that I had fallen into arrears at one time. And with two of my kids' mothers, we had an agreement, and we actually went to court. And in order for me to get out of that, they had to drop. They had to go and drop their actual case against me in order for the arrears to be wiped. That's, you know, for to drop the whole child support case itself, and to also relinquish their rights to the arrearage that I owe.
Definitely,
so that's how I was.
And
so that's how I was able to get out of the system in that fashion. And so so they're like you alluded to, you know, going onto a site and actually learning what our rights are, because we do have rights. I know we're sitting here and we're saying that, you know, the system is catered and geared to, you know, more for the woman against the man, this and the other. I'll take it a little deeper than that. The system is actually designed to keep the family, in my opinion, separated.
No doubt.
And so with that being said, that it is probably easier said than done in certain people's cases, but at some point we as adults have got to get together and come on one accord and just be like, look, sweetie, or look, sir, in order for you to get this money that you're looking for from me, we have to come to a better situation than this, because if I end up going to jail, you're not going to get this money. If you keep allowing this situation to be the way that it is, you're still not going to get this money. So it's in our best interest to figure out how we can work.
What if she's crazy and wants you to go to jail?
Well, I mean, and then that's a whole nother animal, you know.
Yeah,
that is unfortunate, but that's a whole nother beast. But there is still ways that we can go in and be like, look, I mean, because at the end of the day, we have to have the same, and I'm just going to speak to what you just said. We have to have the same rigorous and vicious mentality that she has, because you're in there fighting for yourself. And you have to fight and let it be known that, listen, you all are going according to, you know, my pay, this, and that, and the other. And I'm telling you that this can't be done. And I mean, if you fight and they see that you fight hard enough, the courts will work with you, because they have with me. And so I know that it is possible. It is possible.
Because at the end of the day, who are we doing this all for? We're doing it for the youth. We're doing it for our children. Our children, they don't have voices in this situation. So we have to be the voice for them. So if we abandon the battle, we abandon our children. If we give up on the system, you know, we're giving up on our children, because we have to navigate the system in order to basically be given the rights to deal with your children. This is why I do not understand why the same two individuals that decide to lay down and copulate and they, you know, they have sex and the baby comes from that. And now as soon as the baby comes into the picture and the relationship goes afoul, now we need to involve everybody else into our relationship. We need to have other people on the outside come in and make decisions about our family. So outsiders don't know me, they don't know you, but we are inviting them into our family affairs.
There's somewhat of a middleman.
They're more like the
mediator.
The mediator.
Yeah.
I'm not
Tanya has
David. Sorry about my mic being mute.
Okay, so Robbie, you want to hold on a minute, Tanya. Robbie, you want to jump right in there? You want to give us your experiences about child support in probate court, and when Robbie's finished, we'll go right to Tanya. Okay, go ahead, Robbie.
All right. My experience with child support, I actually that came about because I wasn't in home no more. The house was broken at that time. So my son's mom, she went, because I guess she might have just got pregnant, couldn't work anymore with her next child's father. She couldn't work. She had to collect assistance from the government, which that led to them wanting to know who was the son's father and probably, the child to be. But they only came really after me. That's my assumption. That's what I believe. So because she needed food assistance and maybe got cash assistance, I don't know, but I knew it was food assistance, they wanted me to pay child support. So I have disability income, which that's like once a month is really nothing. My child would have benefit for so much more out of pocket as he was at the beginning and still was after they took child support from me. So I was giving the system $100. But when I realized the system is not giving mom the $100, the system is giving mom $80 and they're taking $20 out of that $100. So $80 a month for a child never was getting the work done. But I still pay the $80 out of my check every month. If I ever felt behind because of a disability, income was interrupted by negligence on the mailing system or my part, I had to get it all turned back on again. And that was rare in the rare payments for her. What happened in that situation, I went to court. Me and moms was underneath the understanding. My son started living with me. They still was taking money out of my check. I went to court and I tried to get them to stop it. They wanted me to go after mom. That was to divide us with our communication we had, the understanding, the ability to raise a child still, even if we wasn't together or in home together. So the courts, like, they would divide a family and they made me feel low at times in that courtroom when I was asking for their assistance. I actually told mom, said, that we can drop this, but they said moms want to drop it and you need to go after her now. You need to give me her information so we can have her stop paying you child support. Now, me as a man and a father, I never wanted to do that to his mother. So I said, no, I left all of that alone. I continued to pay child support, which they took child support from me till my son was 22 years of age. My son wasn't in school. At the age of 18, they were supposed to stop those payments, but they continued to take them for the next 4 years. I had a settlement.
You had to go in and file a modification.
I tried everything. I tried everything. So what happened was on the day that he turned 22, they called me because they knew of a settlement that I was getting. And they told me, your son is 22 years of age. We will no longer be taking payments, but we're going to take the settlement. I got moms on the phone. She agreed that she didn't want that settlement. She didn't need no more money. They can give me all my money. And the dude that was handling the case told me right in front of her, if you don't need it or want it, we'll give it to the next household. That was just the individual I was dealing with. That's how the system could be evil, and they're not working with you. They was working against you. I always say, if the moms would not have got on government assistance, or if a lady out there that has a broken home and that's not getting government assistance and they're not being vindictive, taking the dad to court because he's in a new relationship, maybe don't have kids with that lady, but the lady has kids and he might just be helping her out. She feels threatened or insecure because he's in another household with children or made children in another household. So she takes him to court to either break his pocket or just put a dent in it. Those be situations, but at the end of the day, I believe two parents that made that child, if they was to be able to take care of the child before the courts came in, then it's more beneficial to the parents to do so, because I know I paid money outside pocket and my son lived with me. He still had everything he needed. So it wasn't like I wasn't taking care of him. He was getting everything. I think that if the system never came in, it would have been just left fine. That's in a lot of households. The man's giving up way more than what the court's gonna take from them. That can't help the child. Right. If you would just let the man still do what he do, even if he's not with you, if he's a real man, he's taking care of responsibility, you and your child stand to gain a lot more. I just know in my experience, it was a struggle. I walked out a couple of times out that office crying, frustrated, taking 10 seconds, 10 minutes to calm myself down and find reason why they wasn't working with me, why they was working against me. So everyone's experience is different in that system.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I want to be fair. Tanya, I'm gonna let you talk, but if you're just tuning in, tonight's discussion is probate court and child support. Tanya, you want to go ahead and share your experiences?
Did you mean teenage? No. Yeah, I do. Hold on. I won't. Who would you like to call? Daddy. Calling Daddy.
Okay, so Tanya, we're gonna go to go ahead.
Go to the next person and then come back to
somebody else want to share?
So Uncle Rob, do you feel like that system work hand in hand, the welfare and the child support?
I do, because I believe that it is. You're taking money out of their whole system. It's like one hand scratches the other will help the other. That's government assistance. That's government assistance. The man told me out of his own mouth, if they're paying someone welfare is getting paid from them. They got to get their money
Does
back.
that feel like a modern day slavery type thing? Like they made the father a slave to the system because he had a baby.
Well, see, you have
I don't know how long they got. On probate,
you have to keep in mind about the NANs, the no accountable niggas that never did anything for their kids, that just totally abandoned their kids. You know, that never had any involvement at all. Just up from the jump. When the chick said that she was pregnant, they said, it's not mine. Go find you was messing around with somebody else. So you have to remind you about those type of dudes that made it bad for the people who really are there for their kids and who really do things for their kids. But them nan niggas, they the ones that mess it up for everybody else that really do things.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so Tanya, are you ready to share?
I'm ready. And my husband wants to share too, but I'm gonna share first.
Okay, go ahead.
My situation with probate court. I've always been he's here. I've always been an independent person for my aspect. When I took my kid's father to court, I had to, because we had made an agreement outside of court. And when it came, and it was I only asked them for $80 for 2 kids, $80 a week.
So wait, let me stop you there. Did you come up with that number, or did the courts
I came up with that number. I came up with that number.
Wow.
$80 a week. That's all I asked for, because I work.
He played himself.
I worked and to take care of my kids. Excuse me. And I had 3. He was only paying for 2. And he didn't want, every time it came time to pay the money, I had to argue with him about it. So I just got tired and said, I'm taking you to court. But when I went to court, the thing of it is that when they do that sliding scale fee based on your income, if you're not reporting all your income, you're not gonna get everything that you're supposed to get. This man worked 2 jobs, 2 good jobs. And he didn't report all his income, to the point that I ended up only getting $40 per kid after the court. After the court. So, and that's all he ever paid. And when Christmas time came around, he only gave me $100. Not $100 per kid, just $100.
So is this, and so you're telling me that the agreement that you made outside of court, was for $80, and then you went to court, and that's what they ordered him to pay was $80 a week.
Yeah, because he didn't report all his income.
And then as years went by, they continued to allow him to pay $80.
$80. Yep.
All right, so
$80.
gentlemen, I want to be clear about this. You see, this is part of the problem. There are those that can and they choose not to. And there's those that cannot and you don't have a choice.
Right.
So this is where Timmy was referring to as the Nans. They often get the credit for a good man, but the definition is totally different. So those individuals make it bad for all the good men. So go ahead,
let me give you the aspect on the woman. Go ahead, Daddy.
So my situation was like this. I came out of prison and I wanted to see my kids because I love my kids. I figured love trumped money. And one of my kids' mothers felt like she wanted just the money. So I fought with her and she was abusing my child. So I went to court, man. I had an envelope stacked with papers from the courts and everything else when it came to my daughter, to the point where I just said to the court, y'all should just give me my daughter because this woman is not doing right by her. So eventually, the only thing she wanted was the food stamps, the check she was getting from the welfare, and the child support she was getting from me. That was $120 a week or a month. It was a week. It was a week. $120. And at one time, I didn't have a job. She didn't care. At one time, I owed her, no lie, I owed her, I think it was $1,000. She had the police come to my house and arrest me and take me to jail.
Before Christmas.
And told the court that in order for them to release me, that I had to give her that money.
Wow.
So I asked my sister for the money, to loan me the money. I gave it to her. I was $20 short. And they still wanted to keep me in jail for $20 short.
So you came up with $980 and the legal system and the child's mother wanted to keep you in jail
because she
for
was
$20 before Christmas, and this was supposed to be for the kid.
Yep.
See, that's a control issue.
It's
Yes.
Exactly what I said.
It's very
the system, they want their money. They don't care how they get it. They don't want half, they don't want a quarter, they want it all. But when they owe you money, they want to give you part of your money and keep the other part.
And then what Hat said goes back to what I was telling Sean earlier. I was saying, what if she's crazy and wants you to go to jail? I've been through that situation too. And because I got out and I didn't go to jail, after we left the courthouse, the girl was trying to spit on me and some more stuff in the train station. So
did she try or did she spit on you?
Wait, I got accused of trying to fight the baby's mother while she was pregnant with another kid. And all I was doing was telling her that what she was doing was not right. And she gonna tell me I didn't have no tea in that Kool-Aid. You know, I didn't know the flavor, basically for me to mind my business. And I told her that as long as I was helping him pay the child support, it was my business. And I spent a lot of time with this girl.
Okay, let's stay right there. So the child support's being paid. Mom is still angry because I guess because dad moved on, is having a successful relationship outside of hers. So no one can be happy, because if you're not going to be happy with me, you're not going to be happy with anyone else. Exactly. So everybody else is going to suffer, including the child.
Yes.
Okay, so again, if we're talking about child support, that's to support the child. How does it become about mom or dad in that situation? Because let's be clear about this, ladies and gentlemen. Men are not the only ones that pay child support. There are cases where women are ordered to pay child support. So we want to be fair about that. It's rare that it happens, you know. We don't hear about it a lot, probably in our community, in our circles, but it does happen. There are some men that have full custody of their child, or they're the custodial parent. Now, let's talk about this child support and visitation. So, Sean, we'll go back to you, and then we'll go to Hack. Now, Sean, when you was paying child support, did you automatically receive visitation rights, or did you have to apply for them?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I did, because in my case, and in all of my situations, I was awarded joint
1 minute
custody.
left on a Zoom meeting, y'all.
And
1 minute left. Make sure y'all sign on to part 2.
I'm sorry, Sean, I'm sorry. So what you guys is hearing is we have 1 minute left to this session, but please tune right back in, because we have another link for a second part to this. So you guys, let's be fair about this. Sean, let's when we come right back, everybody take I think we have a 5-minute break. Then everybody come right back. Everybody go take a bathroom break, and then look at the link and log right back in. So everyone, if you're just tuning in, you are watching the Still a Man podcast. We are taking a 5-minute break.